What's up, fellas? I'm back, and it's been, I think, about what, like 6 months probably, since I actually uploaded a video about this game that I've been writing. This dragon survival game, so to speak. I did think I'd upload some more in between, but then, to be honest, it just didn't really end up being needed. I think, or rather, I just couldn't find a reason to do it. But in this video, it's going to be a bit different to the last one. Instead of making an entire video talking about how I've implemented procedural generation of, the world and things like that, and talking about how you architect it and everything, I'm going to do more of like a proper devlog, I think, rather than like a video kind of in of itself to explain, the concepts and things, because I think really the sorts of people that are going to be watching these videos are probably people that actually want to just know what's in the game at the moment, what updates there are, and things like that, want to know what the progress looks like and what the game's going to be. So I think it just makes a lot more sense. I mean, it was a very kind of high effort video, the last one that I made. But yeah, I mean, it has been a very long time. This game is still in its early stages of development. And I say that, and it might not sound right because of the fact that, I've been working on this game for like, what, 5 years now? I think so. Well, I guess what I mean is really it was still in that phase, and now it's not, which is why I'm making a video, because I've had to work a lot on not really adding features so much as adding, like optimizations, restructuring everything, with the code under the hood and things like that to be able to make this game run properly. But yeah, I will just say before I get into everything and I start flying around and things like that, the last video, if you want to watch it, it just talks about the procedural world generation and how I did it. That's in the description of the video if you want a more comprehensive idea as to how that actually works, if you just happen to be interested in that. If you just want to ask questions or you want to find out about what this game is about and, what the idea is, because, at the basic fundamental level, it is a procedural dragon survival game. But, if you want to know some more about that, the Reddit post I made 6 months ago-ish, or something like that, half a year ago, I don't know. Links in the description for that. And also, possibly the link for the current Reddit post, because I probably made one with this too. That's the intention. And if you just want to ask me anything, you want to talk to me directly, then Discord server is also linked in the description as well, because I've now set that up. So please, guys, if you are interested, do join that, and just come and talk to me, and ask me whatever you want to know about it. So without further ado, I'm going to actually start wandering around and just sort of showing you how things look. And bear with me, guys, because I've got the microphone right in front of my face so that I can actually hear my voice properly when I then go and edit the video, and I don't have loads of background noise to have to filter out as much, which consequently means that I can't see where I'm going. I have basically a black spot in my central vision. I can only see around the peripheral of my vision, basically. I don't know how people... Maybe it's just the way I've got my stand-up microphone sort of held up because it's on an arm. Some people have it, on the desk or something. I don't know. Or maybe people just know how to essentially turn on the invisibility and it just disappears and they can't see it or something. I don't know, because I can see it and it's in the way of my screen. But yeah, normally I don't have it that close when I'm just doing things. But I think for a video, it makes a lot more sense. So yeah, the thing with this is, if you have watched the last video, what you'll notice is that the world is a lot bigger now. Much bigger. And that is because this is now hooked up for online multiplayer, and the chunks are being generated on a local server currently on my computer, and they're being streamed down to my client, which I'm running right now to play it. There is a bit of lag, and to be honest, that's probably because of the fact that my graphics card is unlikely to be enough to really cut it for this game, so I'm probably going to be upgrading it. I don't really know, because I have obviously been adding a lot of things now, and I've been trying to optimize things to run better, and it's surprising how much I've been able to do. But yeah, I'm currently using an RX 580 4GB model. Almost all of them end up being an 8GB model, so I don't really know why mine's a 4GB. I've never seen it anywhere. The only one I know about that's 4GB is mine, so it's weird. But, all the well. So yeah, basically the world does generate infinitely. Online multiplayer is supported now, however, I haven't really got it working in such a way where I can, at the moment, I had this work in the past, but because of how I'm doing things at the second, I can't really connect any clients to it to show you others joining with me, and I also don't have anyone to join with me as well. I could just, create a dummy character and just put it in now if I really wanted to, but it won't load the world in for them, so I'm not going to do that. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the actual sort of complexity and feel of the way the procedural world generates as well, I have been working on that. So you get kind of like, you know, cliffside sometimes, you get proper oceans, kind of like that over there. I mean, I think sometimes they're more like big lakes, but I guess it depends on how you want to scale it in your head based on the game scale. And obviously you get islands like that too, at least I think that's an island. You do get islands, that accidentally ended up happening, so that was rather nice. And mountains too, as well. There are mountains, although here it's not that evidently clear, but yeah, there's one at the distance over there you can probably see. And I believe it was the case before, I don't really remember, but height level does obviously affect the biome too. So up there, as you can see, we've got some snowy trees. But in any case, there are multiple biomes. Some of them are based on height, some of them are just everywhere around you as well. I think we've basically been in a birch forest for most of this, but conveniently, in front of me right now, we've got a different one. And what I really do like is that now we've also got fog that changes colour, affects the sky. As you see, as I go towards this biome, oh no, oh, it's the end of the world. Alright, so I've just generated a new world, and as you can see right there, conveniently, first try, we've got a really good seed, or technically multiple different seeds, because the seeds are used for different things, for different parts of the way the world works. But yeah, we've got a nice crimson forest, so as I go up to it, you'll see, I mean, here it does transition to red as you get up to this biome here, and the sky should go pink, because the fog colour does change. I've got it set up so basically every biome, if needed, has a different type of fog. And, you know, it's all up for changes and improvements and things, but right now this is the kind of look I'm going for. So I hope it's starting to kind of shine through and it's obvious. But in terms of dealing with the finesse of all of it and making it look exactly how I want, I mean, well, it remains to be seen really how that's going to work. So to be honest, you know, I mean, I don't know about you guys, I think there are conflicting opinions on this from people I've asked and things like that. But the thing that I notice is that fog is something that people either really like or they really don't like in games. Personally, I really, really like it. And the reason that I do is because of the fact that, to me, yeah, I know it's like for essentially hiding artifacts and things like that, visual artifacts, and don't get me wrong, that is absolutely what it's doing in this game right now. I mean, there are levels of detail, so things far away are not quite as detailed, and the fog definitely does help with not perfectly hiding it, but hiding it to an extent. You know, I mean, I know a lot of older games do it, and I think that the byproduct of it, though, is that what it does do is it makes games look more like a painting. You know, where you're sort of having to fill it in your mind, you know, when you see the things in the distance and you can't quite make it all out. So there's that uncertainty, and so you start filling in what you want to see rather than what's necessarily there. And, you know, I think when I was a child, I don't think I quite appreciated it, really, stylization in games, because of the fact that stylization meant that there was less detail, and I liked photorealistic games because of the fact that, you know, I think when you're a child, you don't really necessarily notice all the details and everything anyway. So actually it was fine. It was sort of like looking at a painting, but, you know, in the sense that when you're an adult, I think you kind of get the same effect, really, don't you, or more or less, when you look at a painting, since it's taking away details and you're having to then fill it in. And as a result of that, you know, as an adult now, I think I do rather like it, actually, and I tend to really want to make games look stylized. And, you know, I do particularly like colourful fog as well, so that's why, you know, as you probably have seen, the crimson biome, you know, the fog is rather pink, it makes the sky change colour, things like that. I really like that sort of ethereal, quite colourful sort of look, you know. I do think it's good. There are some things which, you know, are sort of being reworked as well sometimes, but particularly I'd say I'm removing ragdolling as well, and I think that's something that's worth pointing out. Because it used to work on single player, but once you decide to go with multiplayer, online multiplayer as well, it becomes a massive issue because you end up with basically numerical errors between the client's version and the server's version of the physics calculations when the dragon ragdolls. And that means that the longer the ragdoll lasts, the more different the client's version is to the server's. They become, I suppose, like exponentially more different and irregular to each other, because it's just slightly wrong values every time. It does some kind of calculation that I do not personally understand. Whenever it does this, you would think, right, that, okay, so maybe there's a solution to that. Maybe you can just go, alright, let's have it so that one of them copies the other one and then sends the data across. But the problem is that those physics calculations are quite hefty, and Unreal just does not want me to do that. To be clear, I am using Unreal Engine for this game, which was talked about, I think, in the last video I made. But again, it was months ago that I watched it, so I can't say I really remember what I said. But yeah, I am using Unreal Engine for this, and despite that, it's still taken this long to get this stuff done. You know, it's basically, I think it's got to the point where the basics are done, it's set up, it does work. There's actually quite a lot going on. I mean, the fact that there's so many trees for a start is just due to the fact that loads of them are instanced when they're far away. Once you go up to them, they're actually real trees, and they get basically generated by the server for you. All the ones in the distance, they're just copy pastes of the same tree that are rendered over and over again, so it's really, really fast. But yeah, in terms of things I'm going to be doing, you know, I'm working on this on my own, so it's going to be mainly quality of life things, I think, for the second. And I'm just going to be posting lots of updates on it. You know, I'm not sure though, because I mean, we'll just see what happens and see what I end up doing. But at the moment, it is just me. So, you know, I haven't made any of the 3D assets in this. I have made the sounds, if you can hear those. I did all of those myself. Oh, wow, okay. And I've also made the images that you see for the GUI. I mean, most of those aren't that great. They're just kind of templates. The one that I did make, and I think you may have seen already, is the Stamina Ouroboros reel, which I rather like. Everyone I've talked to really, really likes this. I drew that myself, and people seem to be quite fond of that, so I think we'll be keeping at least the design. Maybe it'll get redrawn, maybe it won't. Don't know. But yeah, I do encourage you guys to subscribe to this channel as well, and things like that, if you want to keep updated with it, because eventually I will release this game when it's ready. And I do intend to get help with it for assets and things like that. God, I want to go to that island, that's a real shame, that. Another thing I think, which I've kind of ignored, and I often think I forget about this, actually, is the fact that the health does work, the hunger, thirst, and the temperature, as you see there, do work. Temperatures in Celsius, because as I'm sure you can imagine from my voice, I am British. Well, technically British and Italian. The temperature is determined, at the moment though, not really based on the biome you're in, and it's more based on things like the height you're at, your altitude, and also what time of day it is. So if it's night time, it gets colder. But I am going to update it to respect biomes too, things like that. Oh yeah, now here's a really nice biome that actually I again forgot existed. I'm really glad appeared, otherwise I would never have bothered to show it. Which is the bamboo one. I rather like this because everything goes really green. So hopefully as we get closer into it, I think we're into it now, aren't we? Yeah, it's rather nice. But yeah, I am going to work on it. I'm going to work on all of these, make sure that they get improvements and the world starts to look more and more developed. Basically, you know, that's what I want to do. But until then, yeah, you know, I encourage people to follow this game, see what I do with it, and honestly suggest ideas, all of that. I'm absolutely happy with all of that because I'm the only one coming up with ideas, and most of my time spent implementing them and not thinking about what to do. You know, it sort of takes away my headspace when it comes to thinking about those aspects. I mean, to be honest, this is everything I really needed to say, I think, and I will keep posting videos and I will update you guys more frequently now because, as I say, the things I need to actually work on are not as long term. They're now going to be smaller things rather than massive jobs like, you know, the sort of the backbone of how the world actually generates for you, and doing all the networking code for everything that happens and stuff like that. So yeah, let me know what you think, guys, if you have any opinions, and I'll see you all sometime soon.